Paul.
South Korea is seeing a widening gap in its gross national income per capita with the world's 7 major economies, according to the central bank, on the back of the weakening Korean won and slow economic growth.
한국은행에 따르면 원화 약세와 성장 부진에 따라 우리나라 1인당 국민소득과 주요 7개국의 격차가 갈수록 벌어지고 있는 것으로 나타났습니다. Tell us more, Paul.
Yes, so yesterday the Bank of Korea released this data for Korea's gross national income per capita using the World Bank's latest measurements for 2022, and it is $35,990. The issue is it's lower than the G7 countries. If you look at the lowest in the G7, Italy had the lowest per capita at just under 37,000, but that's still $1,700 more than South Korea. The thing is, 2 years before that, in 2020, our GNI, our gross national income per capita, was actually above Italy's by $610. It was the first time Korea had ranked and recorded such a feat. However, Italy caught up the next year by over $1,000. So we're seeing the issues being the weakening Korean won, the differences in economic growth, and, well, Korea is certainly down on the numbers, but who knows what will happen in the next year.
여기서 GNI, Gross National Income이 국민 총소득이죠. 특히 gross라는 단어가 경제에서 굉장히 많이 쓰이니까요. 총액을 말한다라는 거. 그런데 이제 갈수록 이 격차가 커지고 있다. G7 국가들과 이런 얘기를 해주셨습니다. Well, look at the expressions now. And so South Korea is seeing a widening gap.
Yes. So a gap is a space between two things.
Yeah.
I think of the gap between the sofa and the wall where sometimes I accidentally drop pens or coins or other things.
Okay.
Sometimes my cats hide there too.
Uh-huh.
So it's some kind of space between two things. And if it's widening, it's getting wider. It's getting bigger. The distance between these two things is lengthening.
I think of the gap between the platform and the tube track.
Yes, in London. In London,
yeah.
we talk about that subway track and the platform and the famous expression that you'll hear as the train doors open, mind the gap, mind the gap.
그렇죠. 자, 어떤 틈이라는 뜻으로 영국의 튜브 타보신 분들은 아마 이 안내방송 많이 들어보셨을 것 같아요. 그래서 플랫폼과 그 다음에는 철로 사이에 이 간격이 있으니 조심해라 라는 뜻으로 mind the gap 이렇게 얘기를 하고요. 그다음에 뭔가 이렇게 뭐 아까 소파와 그다음에 뭐 다른 가구 사이에 틈이 있을 때도 gap가 있다 이렇게 말할 수 있고요. 만약에 그 치아가 좀 벌어졌다. 그러면은 이제 치아 사이에도 gap가 있다, 틈이 있다 이렇게 얘기할 수 있습니다. A widening gap, 점점 벌어지는 그런 이제 차이가 될 텐데요. We're looking at GNI, of course, the gross national income. And some of the reasons, it says here, would be the Korean won, which is weakening in value, and also economic growth, which is slowing. And the expression used is?
On the back of this happening. So if something happens on the back of something, it's happening after it and often due to it. It's going to be a contributing cause. So why are we seeing this widening gap? We're seeing it because of the weakening Korean won and slow economic growth in Korea.
네, 무엇의 결과로라고 할 때 on the back of something 이렇게 얘기를 많이 합니다. 이게 시간 순서상 on the back of A 하면 A가 먼저 일어났고요. 그 다음에 이제 다른 일이 있었다라는 뜻인데 이렇게 원인이 될 때도 있고 아니면은 이제 시간 순서상 이렇게 됐다라고만 볼 수도 있겠죠.
Yeah, for me, the image that comes into my head when I think of on the back is two people leapfrogging. So you have one person who bends over and the other person jumps over them, pushing their hands on their back and going further forward. Okay. So the idea that we have one thing occurs so that something else will then occur after it.
I forgot what that is in Korean. 이렇게 누군가 한 명이 허리를 굽히고 그 다음에 위에서 누가 이렇게 손 올려가지고 착 이렇게 점프하는 거 있잖아요. 그거를 지금 이제 연상하신다고 선생님이 설명을 해주셨어요. 그래서 on the back of this person이 되겠죠. In this case. 그래요. 뭐 누군가의 등을 이제 짚고 점프하는 그런 이미지도 연상할 수 있겠네요. 예문 주시죠.
We got the new contract on the back of the success of the last project. The reason we got it was because we did so well.
지난번 프로젝트가 굉장히 성황리에 마치게 됐는데 그 성공한 이후에 이제 새로운 계약을 맺게 됐다. 그래서 어떻게 보면은 그 성공 때문에 또 이제 다시 계약을 하게 됐다라고 볼 수도 있겠고요. 두 가지 해석이 다 가능할 것 같습니다.
Yes, and I think we have a translation for leapfrog as well.
등 짚고 뛰어넘기 놀이. 이렇게 부르나요? 단어가 하나 있을 줄 알았더니.
This is the strange thing about comparing languages. Sometimes Korean has a very short word for a very long expression in English. Sometimes it's the other way around.
그게 없나? 예, 알겠습니다. Okay. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. South Korea is seeing a widening gap in its gross national income per capita with the world's 7 major economies, according to the central bank, on the back of the weakening Korean won and slow economic growth.